Hey guys, Stay-Patient here, back with another Fallout 4 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at crafting with one or two little tips that you may not have come across yet, or you may not be aware of depending on how long you've spent in the game. Now first of all, I'm just going to show you guys my perk chart, and just to show that I don't actually have any of the crafting related perks unlocked yet. There's the first one, Gun Nut. I don't have any levels in that one. Then there's Science. None in that one either, and also I think the final one is Armourer. There we go. And possibly, yeah, Blacksmith, but that's more related to melee weapons. So I don't have any of these particular upgrades yet, and that will come into play in a moment. I'll explain why. But what we'll do is let's just jump to one of these crafting tables. This is the weapons one that we've got here. Now most of you will be aware of the basic setup here. Let's take a fairly basic weapon, this 10mm pistol. It's got an automatic receiver, so it's got one sort of slight upgrade, but it's fairly basic. When you click on it, basically you're going to have the receiver slot, the barrel, the grip, the magazine, the sights and the muzzle, and you can put in whatever you like. Obviously these ones aren't unlocked because, like I mentioned before, I don't have Gun Nut or any of the others. But as you can see here, this upgrade, the armor piercing automatic receiver, that requires rank 1 in Gun Nut, which I don't have, but it is still allowing me to attach it. Now the reason for this is because this particular mod is currently in my inventory, so I don't need to build it. The Gun Nut perk would be needed if I actually had to build this this mod, but I don't because I already own it. Now the reason I already own it is because it was on another weapon that I picked up in the world somewhere, and then I removed it from that weapon and put it into my inventory as an individual mod, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a moment. But just to finish off looking at how the crafting works on a basic level, what you would do is, if you let's go to one of these other mods that I would need to build, for instance the hardened receiver. So that provides better damage. Now to build that, it gives you a list of what you need: the adhesive, gears, oil, screws, steel, etc. So you just click on it and it will build it using any of the junk that is in your workshop at this particular location. Now of course you can set up supply lines to be able to share your junk between locations, but that's sort of a different matter entirely. But this is my main hub, so obviously I put all my junk here, and I've got a nice lot of stuff to be able to use to fund my modifications. So you would basically do that. All of these are very basic level. As I mentioned, you've got the short barrel, the standard grip, and you can, you know, buy any of these. But that's how the basic level of crafting works. But now just to explain what I mentioned about removing mods from weapons, because what you can do is you can actually have mods like the arm piercing automatic receiver. You can use them on weapons even if you don't have the required perk related to them, such as Gun Nut. So whenever you find a weapon that you're not planning on necessarily using, but it has some nice upgrades on, before you break it down, let's take one of these as an example. This one here, the compensated armor piercing 10mm auto pistol. Now let's say, for instance, I'm not planning on using that straight away, but I like the upgrades on it. What you can do is click into it, obviously, and then on the receiver, that's the part that makes it automatic armor piercing. So we click on that and you'll see the upgrade down here. Pardon me. Now this upgrade, as you can see, this is I think the same one as we looked at earlier. This requires rank 1 in Gun Nut, but it's already attached to this weapon because it was already on the weapon when I found it in the world or picked it up off an enemy. So if you want to be able to save that mod and use it on another weapon, you simply buy any of the other ones for this particular weapon before you break it down. Now the best thing to do is just to buy the cheapest one, the standard receiver. Now that will remove the armor piercing automatic receiver from the weapon and make it available in your list of mods that are in your inventory. And I'll quickly show you the inventory now. Here we are in the inventory, and if you scroll across, you've got all your mods here. Now, as you can see, I've got dozens and dozens of them, and that's because whenever I break down a weapon that I'm not planning on using, such as this 10mm pistol, see, it's changed its name now because I removed that automatic receiver, so now it's just called the compensated 10mm pistol. Now, the compensated upgrade, that also requires rank 1 in the gun nut perk. So if I changed it to no muzzle, that would free up the compensator perk. It would detach it from the weapon and put it in my inventory, so that when I come to making another 10mm pistol in the future, I'll already have the compensator available without even needing the perk unlocked. Now, if there are any others, some of these you do need to actually spend some, some parts such as adhesive or steel to be able to buy even the basic level one, just to replace, whichever one you're trying to free up. But I would recommend, because of that, obviously only sort of free up that slot if it's one that you particularly would like to use, and especially if it's one that you don't have access to yet. So those ones that we mentioned where you need to have gun nut to be able to build them, it's worthwhile freeing those particular mods up by buying a lower level one, because you're not going to be able to buy it. You're not going to be able to build that particular mod for any other weapon, so having one in your inventory already is very useful. Whereas with this one, this is the reflex sight. Now, this is obviously a decent mod, but it doesn't require any particular perk. So if I wanted this on another weapon, I could simply build it using those particular components on the right hand side. So I'm not going to spend money to buy this standard sight just to free up that reflex sight, because I can already build it, so there's not much point. This large magazine, now in this case, the large magazine does require rank 1 in gun nut, so I could buy the standard magazine here, which will free up the large mag mod to be able to use on something else. I believe it can only be used on other 10mm pistols, but obviously when you start ranking up, or when you find some other upgrades on another 10mm pistol, and you can every now and again just come back to the bench and use a 10mm pistol and try and mod it, and you might find that you've got even more upgrades than you thought you had, and you can actually make a really powerful weapon. So there we go. So I would sort of knock all these down. This is another one that requires gun nut, so I'd buy the short barrel. So now you can come out of that and you've just got a basic 10mm pistol. It's tactical because I left the sight on it, and then you can break that down and get the steel and screws, but you still have all those mods. Now if I'd broken that gun down without taking the mods off, then I'd have lost all those helpful mods. They'd have been gone for good and I couldn't have used them. Now I'm going to go to another 10mm pistol, if we have one here, hardened, there we go. And I'm just going to show you that these mods that I took off are now available. For instance, the no muzzle, I took off the compensator, and I believe I probably already had one in my inventory anyway. But there it is. In fact, I could quickly throw all of my mods into the container I have upstairs, just to show you that this definitely does work. If I pop all these in the container, bear with me for 10 seconds or so. Quite a few of them here, as you can see, and there's also armor mods. This does work for armor as well. So what I do is when I've got the armor, I always swap all of the mods on it for the basic level before I break it down. So we're going to come back to the workbench here. Now, just to confirm, sorry, I'm going to jump back out. It always takes a few seconds. It's a bit slow, this. Now, here we are in the inventories, and I'm in the mods section, and I have no mods on me at all. So if I was to go back to that 10mm pistol, before I was able to put the compensator on because I had one in my inventory, because I'd taken it off the weapon that I broke down a moment ago. But as you can see now, it's no longer available because I can't build it because I don't have rank 1 in the gun nut perk. But let's just have a look. Basically all of these, I'm only going to be able to use mods that I can build. None of the mods that require gun nut or science or any of those are going to be available. As you can see, even the armor piercing, look, I've put that in my my box upstairs, so that's no longer available. Now what I will do is I'll find another 10mm pistol here, one that has compensated. There we go. So we've got a compensated hardened 10mm pistol. I'm going to go to the compensator perk and swap it for the no muzzle. Now that should free up the compensator mod to use on another gun. So I'm going to break down this one. This is the one that I was just on. It's now tactical hardened because it's no longer got the compensated mod on it. I'm going to break that down. Now I'm going to go to one of these 10mm pistols, and I am going to go back here, and as you can see, because I've taken that compensator mod off the other weapon before I broke it down, it is now available to use on this particular weapon. And as you can see at the bottom, it says attach mod rather than buy. On any of these others, let's have a look. If for all of these that are available for me to buy, or build I should say, at the bottom it will say build, so you have to spend those components on the right hand side to build it and add it to the weapon. But with the compensator perk mod, sorry, it won't cost me anything. Although it has the price up there, the adhesive and the aluminium, it won't cost me a thing because I already own it, so I can just click on it and it will build it. And because I've just swap to the compensator, the muzzle brake is still available to swap back to because that's still in my inventory. But of course, if I used that muzzle brake on another gun and then came back to this one, I would no longer be able to put it on this one because it's already been used and because I don't have gun nut. Now I hope that all makes sense, guys. I'm just going to show you that basically the same thing applies to armor. I don't really have much armor on me, but I will show you that one key feature. If I go to my chest piece here and I swap the painted metal for standard. Now on armor, all of the standard mods, or you know, the very top mod in each section is called standard or no miscellaneous, and basically you don't need to spend anything to buy them because it's not a mod, it's nothing, it's just like taking it back to the basic metal. So in this case this is painted, but the name at the top, if you look, it's lightweight painted metal chest piece. If you go to the standard, it will take away the painted prefix, and then if you go to the lighter build, it will take away that, and it just becomes a basic metal chest piece. So I always do that before I break stuff down. I try and have a piece of armor for each type, so a metal piece, a raider piece, and a leather piece for every body part, because they all have different mods that you can attach to them, and the actual damage resistance is different on them. Obviously it depends on what upgrade you have or what mods you use, but for instance the leather stuff generally gives you more protection against energy weapons, whereas the metal stuff gives you more protection against ballistic weapons. So I like to have a full suit or full, you know, array of armor for each material type, because that means if I do want to switch between, if I want different upgrades for different missions, I can come back here and I can just modify whatever metal stuff I've got, or whatever raider stuff I've got, and so on. But there you go. So that's broken that down, or that's put that back to the standard metal chest piece, and then I break it down and I would still have those mods that work sort of attached to it to begin with. So I hope this hasn't been too confusing, guys. I just thought I'd share that with you because I played the game for a few hours before I really played around much with the crafting, and at first I wondered why there was a section for mods in my inventory because I wasn't coming across any in the world, and then I realized that rather than just breaking down the weapons I wasn't using and throwing away the mods that were attached, you could actually free them up by swapping back to basic stuff, and then you could use those mods again on other weapons. So that's how I've ended up with, you know, fairly decent stuff quite early on in the game. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the game. I hope this helps you in some small way. I'm going to get back to playing it for now, but I will catch you all soon, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.